Let's get educated. That's why we're here, to bring you the stories impacting K-12 classrooms and college campuses. It's time for a little education.
Well, welcome everyone. I am Katie Petrick, joined today by David Fiorazzo.
Hello.
David.
Hola.
Before we get started here today, I have a question for you. What are you doing over there?
I'm using my new educated mug, coffee mug, to cool off my cappuccino. Yes.
Oh, very nice.
You can get these, by the way, at stayeducated.org or freedomproject.com. And
anywho, I also have another question for you, though.
Yes.
Are you one of those guys who relaxes by the fire you kind of snuggle up there with a good book while your dogs are there at your feet, just kind of gnawing on your slippers?
No, but my wife does. Why?
Oh, okay. Well, hey, I mean, I guess she could be, as long as she would have the right slippers, you know. So maybe you need a Christmas gift for her. Maybe she needs new slippers from My Pillow.
Okay. Well played, Ms. Petrick. So what you're saying is I should go to mypillow.com and get my hands on some slippers for Rosanna. And while I'm there, add some sheets, towels, pillows, a robe, even a dog bed. We already have 2 dog beds. But it makes sense, especially if I and we can save 66% on everything by using the code EDUCATED. So again, friends, go to mypillow.com, use the code EDUCATED, and send Katie and me something nice this Christmas season.
Ho, ho, ho. Well, today we're going to start at Joe Biden's alma mater. Yay! The University of Delaware, where privilege, it's not just a talking point. No. It's a mandatory class for all you freshmen, or is it fresh persons? I'm not quite sure anymore. But all of you first-year students, you must be privileged. How is that so?
Freshmen beware. Here's the deal. It's a mandatory course at the University of Delaware titled UNIV 101, First-Year Experience. Students have been asked to assess their levels of privilege by completing a privilege checklist. That's right. Subsections include white race, ethnicity, culture privilege, cisgender privilege, sexuality privilege, and male/masculine privilege. Let's just look at what's on the screen here. Let's just break this down. I get overwhelmed by looking at all these bullet points. This is just one category, cisgender privilege. Katie, can you help us work through what cisgender?
Remember, now, if you even pick one of these, I'm sure you're going to get yelled at, but they say if you have cisgender privilege, if you can use public facilities like restrooms and locker rooms without fear of verbal abuse, assault, or arrest. Yes. I guess I have that cisgender privilege. I've never thought about being arrested for going into the bathroom, but okay. People know what to call me and how to refer to me without asking. People don't even know that for me. No, I do not have to worry that my gender expression will make people around me uncomfortable. Strangers don't ask me what my genitals look like and how I have sex. You know what?
Jeez.
That's a good one, because if any stranger is just coming up to you and saying, hey, how's it going over there with
this
your
does not come up in conversation in a sane society.
Stranger.
It doesn't come up.
Exactly. And so the fact that they are making all their first-year students go through an entire course, not just an online 2-hour session or something during orientation. They are making a full-on course of this. And you have to pay for it, of course. I mean, they're going to make you pay for all of it. Why wouldn't they?
I'm laughing because you had to pick one of the most creepy,
perverted.
You did that on purpose. She's feisty this week, friends. But let's look at some of these things here. The first year course, in their definition of it, is designed to help students adjust to college life. And I've racked my brain for a short period of time, because I don't want to do this too long, to try to figure out how that makes sense, how this course is going to help students adjust to college life. And then the light bulb went off. Of course, this is college life. This is what they promote. This is what everyone is expected to, the wokeness, the political correctness, and the social justice activism and all this stuff. And this is what they want to train freshmen coming in to understand. So that's when I got it. Okay, it is designed not for the good, though. Usually when you hear these words, it's designed to help students. Okay, if you were to stop right there, designed to help students, I would say no. But they say to adjust to college life. It doesn't help them adjust to society. It doesn't help them adjust to getting a job in 5 years. It doesn't help them adjust to having a family one day or making life-changing decisions. But it does, Katie Petrick, help them adjust to college life.
And it even says how it's your future success, that you have the foundations for your future success at this university.
I would beg to differ there. Now,
That's what they said.
I know they say it, but you got to define what future success is.
Oh, at the university. So they are getting you woke to the umpteen degree so that you find success in all those classrooms where those professors will then spew out at you all of the stuff that, hey, wait a minute, I learned that in my first year experience course.
Yep.
I know what to write on this paper to get an A+++,
Yep.
LGBTQIA+++, all of it. I know what to do. So yeah, they will find success at the university. But this is yet another great example that, mom, dad, student out there, high school student, if you're thinking, college, I'm supposed to go to college. What do I do? Do not go to the big university right off the bat, because this class is for freshmen only. Here's how you get around that class. Transfer in later, or maybe just don't attend the University of Delaware at all. But this is yet another example of, hey, go to the local community college. It hopefully would be a little bit better in terms of the wokeness. Now, it might not be. It might be the exact same stuff, but at least you'd save some dollars and maybe your cents. Maybe not. Okay. And then you can transfer into the University of Delaware just to do whatever the major is that you want to do.
By the way,
I recommend that from here on out to everyone. Do not go to the university, because then you're going to be forced to also live amongst those people and that influence, because you're going to be, if you're a freshman, you have to live on campus in the dorm, and you're going to be around it 24/7. At least if you go to like a local community college, you can escape that and go live in the real world, maybe have a job. Get away from these people.
Well, the course uses a pass-fail grading system.
I bet everyone passes as long as they recite their life away, too.
I would bet if a staunch conservative or someone with the biblical worldview, a Bible-believing Christian perhaps, would go into this and hold to your biblical values, that would probably be the only person that would fail this kind, because it is about just this ideology that they're shoving down the kids' throats. And there's another checklist I think that we wanted to talk about. It's the citizenship. Now, this is interesting. Apparently, if you're a citizen of America, you're privileged. So if I apply for a job, I do not have to worry about what to write under Social Security number. And I'm thinking, doesn't everybody need a Social Security number, a driver's license?
Otherwise
is that
you would
privileged because we're in America?
Apparently, just like voter ID is racist and all of that too.
Wow.
The country, yes, we have USA privilege. That's it, and I'm proud of that. USA privilege.
Okay, friends, still to come, a new study suggests that, this is amazing, attractive female college students saw their grades dip during remote learning because male professors weren't able to physically look at them in class. To be a pretty person, said the soap actor.
That's you.
We're talking about that next.
If you have a smartphone, tablet, Roku, or Apple TV, consider downloading the Freedom Project Media app. It's 100% free and includes all of our weekly shows, plus lecture series, archive programs, and award-winning animated videos for families like the Presidential Minute, Battles of America, and Heroes of the West. Don't rely on the social media giants to keep you informed. Simply download the Freedom Project Media app from your app store and allow notifications. And we'll let you know when a new video is ready.
All right. Well, here's one that didn't and wouldn't happen to me. Apparently, we have a study that has revealed that when schools went to remote learning, the pretty girls in college had received lower grades. Now, this is a study that's out of Sweden, and they found that attractive female university students saw a significant drop in their marks when classes had to go online during the pandemic. Prior to the pandemic, apparently attractive male and female students actually tended to score significantly better grades, particularly in classes where teachers and students had interacted more. So as long as you're seeing the pretty faces in front of you, those pretty faces are getting higher marks, according to this study. This beauty premium, as they're calling it, beauty premium.
Beauty privilege.
Beauty privilege, it dropped by about 80% for female students when classes went online. Now this is pretty fascinating, just a weird, quirky kind of thing. According to the Times, which is out of England, this means that professors had previously been discriminating in the female students' favor. Yes, we can notice that. Yes, while this discrimination appears to be true of the male professors who made up 11 out of the 16 of the instructors, the researcher doing this actually noted that the female professors were also giving the attractive females better grades prior to the pandemic. So if you're a pretty girl, all the professors just want to give you good grades, except during the pandemic when they couldn't be face-to-face with you. So the researcher behind this is named Adrian Mahik, who sought to examine what impact facial attractiveness had on academic outcomes under various forms of instruction in Sweden, both for men and women. And now Mahik had recruited 307 engineering students who were enrolled at Lund University before and during the COVID-19 pandemic. So it's like the pandemic came and just like upped the ante on this entire study, I guess. The researcher also recruited a jury consisting of 74 individuals ages 17 to 32, 44% of whom were women, so it was fewer women than men. But jury members were asked to rank the attractiveness of the engineering students' faces using a 1 to 10 scale, where a 1 was extremely unattractive and a 10 was extremely attractive. So like this researcher really was going into this, got a whole jury, a whole panel of people to like rank these people. So it's not based on, Adrian's thoughts. It's based off of these 74 different people. It's interesting. Now, there was cross-referencing of the rankings with data from mandatory courses within the Swedish engineering program. And it was like, it was really quite a, I guess, in-depth study that this person did. It was quite fascinating, David.
I'm wondering why engineering?
They picked engineering. Well, yeah, it's Sweden. I don't know. I mean, is engineering different in Sweden? In America, engineering tends to be more male-dominated. So you were looking at maybe where there were only like 5 women in the class, and so there was preferential treatment to the women, and I don't. Yeah,
when I saw this story, I thought, you know what? Just weird. Just. But then I thought, okay, if they're actually favoring, if this is true, that they're favoring, well, I know girls are always favored anyway, but I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But if they're favoring attractive people, doesn't that mean they're not grading on test scores, or they're grading on whether you get something right or wrong, right? Well, how does that play into
because everything here is always about, there is no right or wrong anymore, because that's racist. Math is racist. Everything is racist. So I guess maybe they picked engineering because engineering tends to be a more like quantitative right or wrong type thing. Like math is supposed to be, there's a right and a wrong. It's not as where you have qualitative, and that's more judgmental. Objective versus subjective is what I'm trying to say. So it's more objective in the math and engineering, and in subjective when it comes to like anyone who's in the humanities, where you could see how the women may be favored because everything's kind of like up to the opinion of the professor and giving out those grades. I don't know. It's quite fascinating. What are your thoughts? Let us know by visiting stayeducated.org. Well, either way, talking about a pretty girl. I'm sorry. No, we're talking about Joe Biden. Joe Biden is pandering for votes with those pretty girls as he looks to once again pause those student loan repayments until he gets his multi-billion-dollar student loan forgiveness over those mounting legal hurdles. That's next.
Today's show is sponsored by our friends at MyPillow. Save up to 66% on pristine quality bedding, towels, slippers, signature pillows, and much more when you use the code EDUCATED. That's EDUCATED. Educated. Support this show and a great American company.
Well, I saw this one coming 4 miles away. President Joe Biden reportedly plans to extend a pause. Extend a pause.
How do you do that? Something. See, said earlier, if something's paused, it's stopped. Mm-hmm. How do you extend a stop?
Joe Biden, can you answer that? Of course you can't.
That would be a good one.
Well, he's going to extend his pause on federal student loan payments through the summer of 2023 as the student debt cancellation plans face their legal challenges. The ongoing, is it legal for the President of the United States to just go poof to these student debt loan, the student debt loan forgiveness program, as it's called?
I forgive you.
I forgive you. You're forgiven.
I forgive you.
But also pay your money back.
I pardon
you. So it was put on pause. Joe Biden actually, during the whole pandemic, as we know, the actual repayment of these loans had been kind of put on pause because, students weren't actually really in school, and then people lost their jobs and all this other stuff, so they kind of put it on pause. And then he extended his pause, as we're calling it.
Yes. And
then he extended it again. So, hey, here we are, just yet again. You still don't have to pay back your loans, at least through the summer of 2023. This is becoming more like how the budget works in America, where Congress doesn't actually pass a budget. They just keep doing these continuances until we finally do these omnibus packages that no one pays attention to, no one reads, and then that's how we're in debt by trillions, decades, trillions, just trillions. But I digress.
Yes.
The Department of Education will soon announce the extension of said freeze pause, according to a report from none other than CNN. The first payments will be due 2 months after June 30th, so the end of the summer, unless the Supreme Court greenlights the administration's debt forgiveness program before that. And now a similar report from Bloomberg quoted multiple unnamed sources. So this is supposedly happening, that Biden is just going to bide his time in hopes that the Supreme Court lets his illegal, constitutionally illegal, forgiveness program and debt cancellation altogether program go through. So until then, they're just going to keep pausing it.
See, I'm confused about one thing. I don't want to get
just one, because Joe's confused about many.
Actually, several things in
several
this.
Things.
And when it comes to a policy approach, but that's for another show. Biden said at one point the pandemic is over.
Oh, he did. Yes,
he did
was
at
on the
one point.
floor of in Detroit.
Yeah,
on the floor of a
and
park convention.
I'm looking at a tweet from Randy Weingarten.
Randy.
Yeah, and she says
great.
Our country is facing a tridemic, not just a pandemic. It's a tridemic: flu,
1, 2, 3.
RSV, and COVID. So, did she not get the talking points from our president?
Oh,
that's really interesting.
It's more like he didn't get the talking points because they've been trying to walk back that comment of his saying the pandemic's over, and Randy's more part of it. I know,
yes.
you know.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. So
fear.
Because it was actually Donald Trump, former President Donald Trump, who's the one who introduced that pause way back in March of 2020. You know, when the pandemic first started. Okay, so that was meant to be just a relief measure.
Yeah, just temporary.
What you would call a pause. Because a pause is here. Joe Biden wants this. Cancellation, gone, completely. No debt repayment at all. That's what he wants. Because he thinks money comes from
it's
literal
socialism,
trees.
right?
What? Shh. Oh. Socialism. That's just the way America does it now. Anyway, so we had that initial relief, and then it got extended, as I said before. But has been this extended the pause for a total of 7 times. That's where we are at now.
7 pauses.
7 pauses.
But if it wasn't started up again, then how can you pause something that wasn't moving?
You can't extend a pause. Yes.
This really messes with my mind, I'm telling you.
Hey, it messes with their minds too. Maybe that's the issue at hand with the president. Now, the previous extension of the pause on federal student loan payments was slated to expire at the end of this year. But of course, hey, we can't make it so these former students and students have to pay back what they freely took out and signed on to be loaned, borrowing the money, knowing they have to repay it. No. So we have to extend it here. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to all of these people who now have until the end of summer. So you can take that extra vacation maybe
so you're
during
talking
the
about
summer.
summer 2023?
Summer 2023 is what they're doing.
This is amazing.
But hey, it's okay, because there's going to be even more pauses coming. A number of reports had predicted the White House would once again do this extension. It only costs $5 billion per month, okay? So by extending it another, basically 8 months, that's okay, 40 billion more added. Who cares?
Where did they get that money, by the way?
It grows on trees.
Oh.
Yeah, it grows on trees. That's where it comes from. There's an analysis from the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. They're the ones who figured out this figure. And they said extending the pause through the end of 2024 would cost as much as $120 billion, which would then be the total cost of the pauses being at $275 billion. But again,
billion. Paying for
cares?
pauses. Taxpayers paying for pauses.
Paying for pauses. That should be a picket sign right there.
Yeah.
Paying for pauses.
Yeah.
Gives you pain. Paying for those pauses. Anyway, yeah. You have to remember that they're trying to do the student debt cancellation policy, and that's why they have to keep doing these pauses. So if that were to go through, if the Supreme Court for some reason comes back and says, hey, yeah, you can, it's totally legal and constitutional for you to just cancel all this debt of all these people who, again, willingly took out these loans that they knew had to be repaid, totally legal to do, then that would eliminate $10,000 in student debt for any borrower who is earning less than $125,000 per year, which is to say, if you took out a loan, probably all of them. It would also cancel up to $20,000 for borrowers who use the Pell Grants. So if you got a Pell Grant, you would get $20,000 eliminated. So again, money grows on trees, so we're all okay if that happens too. Either way, this is not a good situation.
Socialist policy in the United States of America. We saw this coming. It's been gradual. Yeah.
It's going. Well, hey, I want some positivity in my life. So
Yes.
Up next, we've got our top 5 Babylon Bee headlines. Make sure you stay right here.
We want to hear from you. If you have a question or comment for Katie, David, or any of our other show hosts, simply visit stayeducated.org. That's stayeducated.org and submit your question or comment. Our team loves to hear from you and might just give you a shout out on air. Again, visit stayeducated.org and connect with us.
Okay, before we wrap this show up today, let's take a look at everyone's favorite satire site, the Babylon Bee.
Here are this week's top 5 Babylon Bee headlines.
So we picked our favorite headlines of the week, and now you can decide which one should be named Queen of the Hive. Let's start with Taliban quits Twitter to protest return of Trump. Next, Twitter is dead. 300 million people post on Twitter. Next, Turkey denied presidential pardon after photos emerge of it attending January 6th. Next, Nancy Pelosi steals Speaker of the House podium as souvenir. And finally, after months of homeschooler begging for mobile device, parents finally cave. Katie?
The mobile device is the calculator. That's pretty funny.
So
I don't know. I do anytime, but the pardoning of the turkey is one of the funniest, I guess, presidential traditions.
it's one of the oddest.
It's odd.
funniest,
It's not a head of government type thing. It's a head of state type thing. So if we were in England, like the Queen would have been, well, now the King, but the Queen would have been the one to do this, not the president. But we're in the U.S. where we have a republic, and that's how we do. So I just like the pardoning of the turkey. And the Pelosi one, though, ties in. Anytime the Babylon Bee is so smart to include January 6th nonsense in there, it's pretty funny. So.
Yeah, I didn't realize they made MAGA hats that small. The turkey was wearing a little MAGA hat. He was. Right
I mean,
there.
wow.
Look at that.
Good
Look at
for that turkey to be able to. Did you order that on Amazon? I don't know where you would get it.
Was that the turkey that was pardoned, though?
We have plausible deniability there, maybe.
Yeah, all right, guys. That's going to wrap it up for this week for the top headlines. More satire to come next time.
All right, if you are a fan of our show, please do your little thing. Like, comment, share if you're watching us on social media. And don't forget, hey, take advantage of our 66% off deal at MyPillow. Simply go to MyPillow.com and use the code EDUCATED to save yourself a whole pile of that money, and a whole heap on the pair of slippers specifically for your Christmas season. For David and myself, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting this show. Until next time, stay educated.